Having said that, it's not just the rates that we are talking about, but in terms of the overall packages.
If you are looking at the land cost and how developers are bidding aggressively for land plots, developers are really hungry for land.
If I'm an investor today, I want to hedge against inflation, where would I park my money? Do I want to park an area that people desire to upgrade into, which is the city?
The next question is, because just now also you talked a little bit about land cost being the fundamental driver of where prices are today. Maybe let's share a little bit of audience with the recent bidding activity. Okay, I think the ones that I recall the most memorable one is the one at Tanah Merah Bedok.
Yeah,
right.
The Bay Shore area.
Yeah, and that as well. Sorry, what are your views? Lee, what do you think about it?
I have a lot of views about it.
1,388 PSL.
Let's break that down.
The Bay Shore kick-started everything. Of course, the most recent one that you saw at just beside Tanah Merah was successfully bidded by All Green. Okay, by the way, when I saw the news, I was like, oh, All Green won it. Then I'm like, oh, but by the way, they also won a piece of land beside Great World City MRT, and the land cost is the same. I'm like, oh, if the land cost is the same and potentially the launch price is the same, would I prefer to stay beside Tanah Merah MRT or Great World City MRT? Yeah, so I think this is really the stark difference that we have seen in just a short span of 1.5 years.
Yes.
So that is that price differential that we are seeing. So just to put things into context, I think when we talk about 1.5 years ago, like there were 3 or 4 plots of land, Ariel Valley but because of the high interest rates, I think most of the pieces of land in such a prime district area were actually bidded by 2 or 3 or even 4 bidders.
Yeah, very low muted activity.
Very muted and very conservative pricing, and they actually went for as low as 1,202 PSF, which then we saw it being launched at 2,700 PSF for Zion Grand. So that was the situation that happened 1.5 years ago and launched last year. So I'm thinking like, hey, like if that is the case that happened in 2024, and then 2025 we see like Tanah Merah, Bay Shore area bidded at 1,003 plus, close to 1,004. And then the land will be launched end of this year, probably early 2027. How and where the prices will go. And then if I'm an investor today, like what you say, I want to hedge against inflation, I want to ride the wave, I want to protect my assets. Where would I park my money? Do I want to park in an area that people desire to upgrade into, which is the city central area? Or do I just want to upgrade because it's near their market?
Allow me to chip in. Because if you like what Millie has mentioned, actually, if you are looking at, even Great World areas, there are actually a launch there's a launch called Promenade, like what you said, right? By All Green, actually their price is around like, if you talk about the price they bid out the land for, is around the same as Bay Shore. Does it really spell that actually there's opportunity for investors to enter into the existing inventory of the market before the new launch that is going to come in the later part of this year?
Yes. In fact, I remember I was pretty heavily involved in the launches in the city center.
In the River Valley side.
Holland, Penrith area, because those were the undervalued opportunities.
Yeah, the land cost was cheap at that point in time, right?
Very cheap. And it became very easy to enter into. And of course, we saw, at the end of the day, the sales figures spoke for itself. Like, River Green, even though it launched at like close to 2,000 PSF, but the overall quantum was so sweet that it sold for, I think almost 88% was sold on launch day. Promenade Peak over 50%. Sky at Holland 99%. So I remember like we had clients who put in their interest, but I think at that point of time, I was just learning how to manage expectation more because we have more disappointment than celebration, to be honest. But having said that, I think there still remains very opportunities.
So let's stay on this point a little bit. I think I recognize the fact that both Lin and Zach, they have brought up very good points about how balanced inventory today. How there's 2 types of inventory today in terms of the new build segment. We have the new launches in this year. There is probably a couple of exciting ones looking at the pipeline. And then on the other hand, you have a balanced inventory that is probably plagued on the old land cost, like some of the River Valley ones you mentioned. I just want to understand in the bits of your methodology today. If you are serving a buyer, all right, how would you help your buyer today navigate these two different categories? Because ultimately, to a buyer, it's still a new launcher. How do you help your buyers to navigate that?
Okay, well, for us, right, when we are serving buyers, typically buyers will ask this question: if not sold out on launch day, is it a bad product? I mean, we get these questions quite frequent. But the thing is, if you look at Treasures at Tampines and even Affinity at Serangoon, during launch day, didn't perform as well as we anticipated it to be. But the thing is, subsequently, when it's like the balance inventory got cleared, there's no way back anymore. There's no way you can get a three-bedder at the kind of pricing at this point in time. So I will always encourage like buyers when they look at the the balance inventory, don't look at it as, something that is not attractive. You need to think of it in terms of, numbers. And does the numbers make sense? Does it, gel back to the resale pricing in the surrounding condos? Whether or not it's like a freehold in that specific area, and also whether it's a leasehold property in the surrounded by freehold condos perspective, and whether or not the PSF matches, and also prorated PSF matches to the age of the property in the surrounding area. So you typically need to do that kind of analysis to deep dive into whether or not a property is worth investing on.
Yeah, I think that is really like what he said, just clearing the psychological
variable.
Because I think that is, I mean, we say like investors, we look at numbers, but truth be told, a lot of the clients that we serve, I don't like this place don't feel good.
Because the show flat, nobody.
Don't tell me you never thought of that before.
Everyone is the same.
Have you encountered some clients that you are serving post-launch and they look at a certain stack and ask you, hey, why this stack nobody buy?
All the time. Like they're like, this is a Singaporean herd mentality. Like it's like, oh, nobody buy means not good. But actually, if we reframe things, every crisis is like an opportunity. So it's just about a matter of timing. And sometimes even when I sell houses, right, I always tell my clients, I always tell my sellers, I don't need to bring 100 groups of people to your house in order to sell a house. All I need is just one right group. Give the right pricing, can match your timeline, and then happy sellers, happy buyers, and then that is the one matchmaking process that I have. Sometimes we don't need quantity, we just need one good quality.
Follow us on IG, YouTube, and all our socials. We put all the link below. Please do give us some support. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.